Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chai with Us podcast. This is episode number 58. I am Erica, the personal developer, and you can also find me online at Emotional Freedom.
Hi, and I'm Ivana from Oklo Isabel.
Okay, so today we are going to have another inspired conversation, and we're going to talk about this book called Unfuck Yourself. What's the name of the author?
Gary John Bishop.
Okay, by Gary John Bishop. And yeah, so listen, just the title for me, it's just like I like it, because
Yeah.
people can be so complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and just starting this audiobook was amazing. I loved the tone of the book. It's just like the title tells you unfuck yourself, and then the rest of the book, I've listened like three parts of the book, wasn't able to finish it, but I'm loving it so far.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the tone of the book. It's just like so decomplicated, right? It's just like
Uh-huh.
everything is so simplified, and I love
Yeah.
it.
I love that he starts off like that just by simply just saying the kind of talk you engage in with yourself impacts your life. And a lot of times we don't even think about that, and we just have this negative chatter that's going on the inside. We don't realize like how it's impacting our life.
Yeah, yeah, it is so true. He just starts in a way telling about 50, we have like about 50,000 thoughts per day. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like crazy. The other day I was trying to, remember all the thoughts I have. Of course, like
Did you
it's
really? Okay.
impossible, but I was like, I want to know what I'm thinking about. Because usually I'm kind of, policing. Sometimes I have to police my mind because I know I have to be careful on certain days. But
Mm-hmm.
then I'm like, some thoughts I don't even realize I had them.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the book I was like curious because I wanted to
Yes.
know, because we cannot possibly know all the thoughts we have. So I was like, I wonder what else do I think that I don't know of,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right?
It's so true. And then he
It-
goes on to say that like the thoughts control our emotions, which is a big deal.
yeah, it is true. And it's like a wheel, right? The thoughts
Yes.
control our emotions then influentiate our thoughts. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, OMG, what am I going to do? And the good thing about the book is just, um, I think that the premise of the book is just like to don't take life so serious, and don't
Yes.
take your thoughts so serious, because
Yes, I agree.
we usually think that we are our thoughts. And I love this part of the book where he says that we are not our thoughts. We are
Mm-hmm.
actually what we do, right?
Yes.
Because we are always, this is one thing that we usually say when we're talking about meditation: you are not your thoughts, you're just thinking the thoughts. And you can think anything. Like, people think very crazy things, and it's totally normal. The problem is when we start engaging with those thoughts, right?
Yes.
What was the most important thing that you got from the book? Anything useful?
Oh gosh, you're starting off big. Hold on. Um,
I'm a very slow
there's
starter, but once I
there's
start, I'm like,
there's several things.
okay.
Let's see. Uh,
I'm curious. I'm very curious. Like, for me, the biggest thing was when he said, "You are winning at the life we have." And
mm-hmm.
it was very interesting because last week we were talking about the thing that we always want to be right.
Yes.
That's why we don't want to let go and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about the we are wired to win, and we are winning every day. And I was like, how come we're we're winning every day? And the thing about the book is that he says that we have these unconscious thoughts and limiting beliefs in our minds, right? So
Mm-hmm.
every time something happens, for example, this relationship fails, right? You have some beliefs that led you to probably meet this kind of person, engage in relationship with this kind of
Mm-hmm.
person, meaning like there's no such thing as losing. We are either
Yes.
winning at something that we really want, or we are winning with something that we don't want, but actually it's imprinted in our minds. And for me,
Mhm.
that was like, whoa, it is true. Like we are always winning because whatever we are thinking and feeling, we materialize it, right? Like we
Yes.
make it happen. So,
Mhm.
and everything we have in our life is kind of a reflection of these beliefs that we have. So if we believe we
Mhm.
don't deserve love, well, guess what we're trying to do? We are trying to get into relationship to prove us and to show us that that
Yes.
is true, right? So
Mhm.
this was for me one of the things that I got from the book that was like, okay, wow, I like this.
I feel like this entire book he was calling me out on a lot of things. And one of the first things was that he said, life's great starters, but not finishers. You remember that part? It's like, and I think
Yeah.
as Geminis, we love to start different projects and we're like all like gun ho about it at the beginning. And then we get to the middle and then we never finish what we started and we just leave it and we start something else.
This is so true. I do recognize that with maturity and a lot of personal growth, I am able to finish things right now.
Yes.
Not audiobooks though. I always leave like I don't know, 10
Mm-hmm.
to 20 minutes of the audiobooks, but like this is so true. And yes, I was thinking that this book is, if you need a kick in the butt, go read this
Yes.
book because the author will make you do things. He will
Yes.
like, you are not doing it because, oh, first thing of the book, the willingness to do something.
Yes.
He was
Mm-hmm.
like, start by checking your willingness. Are you willing to do this? Are you not
Mm-hmm.
willing to do this? Because after all, everything is like about our willingness to do things or not, about our willingness to change, about our willingness to stay at some places and not change, or our
Mm-hmm.
willingness to do different. And I
Yes.
was like, yes, this is interesting. And even when we're talking about affirmations, sometimes people are not that comfortable, talking about affirmation. But then if you add the I am willing to the
Yes.
affirmation, usually it's it's a little bit more lighter and acceptable. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am willing to let go instead of like I am letting go when you know you're not letting go, right? The
Yeah.
feeling is different.
I also love what he said it like some goals are simply not rooted into our reality. And he gave that example of if you want to be a billionaire,
Yeah.
you have these thoughts about wanting to be a billionaire, but are you willing to work the 60 to 70, 80 hours a week that is required to attain
Yeah.
that kind of money? Like, are you willing to sacrifice time away from your family? Are you willing not to go on vacations in order to accumulate all that wealth? So
Yeah.
a lot of times we have to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, like, what is our goal? And do we really like want to have that goal? Are we willing, like you said, are we willing to do what it requires to attain that goal?
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. And especially, and I like the fact that he's like, if you are not willing, that's okay, but just accept
Yeah.
it and move on because you don't have to make $1 million, right? It's not
Mm-hmm.
written anywhere. So if you are not doing what willing to do what it takes, well, then accept that probably you're not going to get that, and that's okay. It's just a decision that we have to make. Are you willing? Are you not willing? I like the way he challenges us, right?
Yeah. I mean, he definitely like calls you out on so many things. He even says like, the problems that you think that you have are probably nothing compared to some other people, like a child in Somalia or an untouchable in India. Like, your
Mm,
problems are nothing compared to like what other people are experiencing. But you know how it is when you have a problem, you like to blow it up, and then it like
mm,
starts to impact your entire life, and it's controlling you.
mhm.
So he talks about that. He's in the an affirmation he says is I got this, and I like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I love the fact of, I love the concept that he talks about of zooming out,
Mhm.
of just, take things into a different perspective. And as you said, sometimes it's just something as little as this, very small, but then we take it throughout our days, throughout our lives, throughout our weeks, or whatever that is. And then if we kind of get out of ourselves,
Mhm.
sometimes, and take a look at our neighbor, take a look at what is happening in the world, and we figure out that our problems are not that big of a deal, right?
Yes.
Especially we have we are so lucky. I mean, in so many parts of the world, it's a completely different situation. Not to say that your problems are not real. They are
Mm-hmm.
real, but it's like sometimes we have to like compartmentalize,
Compartmentalize.
compart,
Yes.
that's a big word, but sometimes like you have a problem in the morning. I don't know, you didn't sleep
Mm-hmm.
well, you were expecting an email that you didn't receive or something like that. Like, why would you take this thing and just go and live your life with that problem in mind and face everything with that problem in mind? Sometimes we have to isolate. It's
Yes.
just one event. We don't have to make this one event the
Yeah.
entire happening. Our entire existence is not one event.
Mm-hmm.
It's way more than that. And I love this thing of like zooming out. And he also speaks about something that you always tell people to do, which is to think about things that you already achieved. Think about um, a moment
Yes.
in life when you did something for yourself and you achieved it and it was a big
Mm-hmm.
problem and you sorted it out. When I listened to this part, I was like, okay, like this is Ivana, she loves this part for sure.
Yes, it's true. And I love what he goes on to say about embracing uncertainty. And he talks about how,
Ah,
back in the day, our aversion to risk kept us alive, but now instead of keeping us alive, it's keeping us from living. And
oh,
it's because like we want to feel safe but and prepared. And he says in uncertainty, that is the pathway to opportunity. That is where you actually are start living.
I think I wrote that
And
down.
that definitely, I feel like called me out too because I love to know what is going to happen next. What am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Because like certainty kind of makes it feel like he says, like that we're safe and we can control things, but nothing is really ever under our control.
Right. It's like when we are not certain of if we should leave a job or not. And we're like, if I stay here, I'm safe. No, you're not safe. You can be fired at any moment. Like something can happen. Um, and it's true. We want to be certain. We want to know what is going to happen all the time. But it's just
Mm-hmm.
an illusion. I think we have an entire episode on that, how to deal with
Yeah.
uncertain times, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he says that uncertainty is where new happens.
Yes.
I love that. For me, it was important to listen to this book because I do deal with that as well. I want to know what is going to happen and when is it going to happen,
Yes.
right? You know,
When it's the big
you
one.
launch, right? You launch a product and you're like, okay, by this time I want to have X people, or by this time I'm doing this and then I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but it's control is just an illusion. Like, it's not possible for us to control what's happening in life. We can have a direction,
Mm-hmm.
but I like the thing. I like this affirmation, even though he says that he's not speaking about affirmations. Do you remember at the beginning of the
Yes.
book? And
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
did
but
say
you're
that.
telling
But
affirmations.
he
Do you know what affirmations
was
are?
like at the beginning of every chapter, he was saying an affirmation.
Yes, I embrace the uncertainty.
Yes.
That's an amazing affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
I have to call him out on that because this is a beautiful affirmation. He just doesn't want to say the name, but it's an affirmation. I'm
It's
sorry.
true.
And he has so many beautiful affirmations. I am what I do. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
like.
Did you get to the example that he gave about Schwarzenegger?
Yes, when he was talking about the relentless. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly it. He says that you have to become relentless in your pursuit of your goals. And he gives this example about Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he grew up in I think he said in a poor village in Austria, and he
Yes.
had these dreams of becoming a Hollywood actor and a bodybuilder. And everyone would probably have like laughed at him and said, "You're never going to do this," because they just
Yeah.
didn't have that vision for him. And
Yeah.
he became he was pursued his goals and he became what he wanted to become, and he ended up becoming the governor of California. And when you
How
think about it, he
crazy
probably
is
never had
that?
those thoughts, but he was like relentless in pursuing his goals. And that's what he says pretty much throughout this entire book. Just start doing, don't wait. And I'm so guilty of that. I'm waiting for the perfect moment to feel like a certain way or for like certain
Oh.
circumstances to line up for
Mhm,
me to start doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And he
mhm.
says, no, don't do that. Just start, just do it. Just be relentless in what you're doing and pursue it and just do it. And it's going to come together.
Yeah. And I love that he says, like, do it and don't stop and just keep The thing
Yes.
about I'm terrible today, is that you just have to continue, because maybe you stop at 100 and
Mm-hmm.
things are going to happen in 101, right?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it's just so hard to keep walking,
Yes. It's true.
right? It
Mm-hmm.
is, sometimes it's so hard to keep walking. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, like maybe I should just give up on this and just, but I can't. Luckily enough, I do have a goal that I wouldn't be able to sleep if I don't, if I stopped. But
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to keep going, and it's comforting to listen to audiobooks like these,
Yes.
and where they say, you know what, don't stop. Here's
Mm-hmm.
an example. It was
Yeah.
good. It was comforting to know that.
It was.
Yeah.
What did you think about when he said, "I expect nothing and accept everything"?
Um, I mean, that's the secret to life. If you want to be happy, if you want to be happy, like you have to let go of the expectations and the results.
Yes.
Because when you expect too much, well, then your expectations are not going to be met. When you expect too little, then you are going to make everything in your power to make the little
Mm-hmm.
happen. So I do agree with that. I wish we could all we could all speak to that and behave like that, but it's not possible. I think it's also important, like to dream and everything,
Yes.
but also to leave the space for ideas to grow and for things to
Mm-hmm.
evolve in a different way that we didn't expect. Because
Yes.
sometimes life just take us to a different direction, and then
Mm-hmm.
and you struggle a little bit with that. You're like
Of course.
fighting, and why should we go that way? But then you realize, okay, now I understand why. So it's important to
Mm-hmm.
leave, to just let the universe do its thing, because sometimes we don't know, right?
Yeah. I think there's a freedom in letting go and just being open to everything that's coming into your life.
Yes. Hmm. I absolutely agree, but it's crazy how attached we are to results, and sometimes we want something so bad that we cannot even see other options, right?
Yes.
And when you let go, all of a sudden you have more options, and things will happen somehow.
Mm-hmm.
False.
Towards the end of the book, he like does like another kick in the butt where he talks about you have to if you want to like lose weight or you have to stop or you want to like get a new job, like stop binge watching TV, like get up and like start applying to different jobs, and it doesn't matter like what you're applying to, but just start doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to like it comes back to what he was saying at the beginning of the book, how like you have to start doing things instead of just thinking about them, like just start doing it and then it's going to come together.
Yeah, I think that, like, to sum up this book, and it's a lot about, you are not your thoughts. Action,
Hmm.
action, action. Do
Yes.
things. Stop thinking. Stop overthinking.
Hmm.
Get, just start looking not only to yourself and your problems. Don't get too attached to the results. I think it's an
Yes.
amazing book for you to start acting. If you have been
Hmm.
procrastinating, just get this book that you are going to start doing something like today, now. I think that's the main thing of the book. I think it's an
Yes.
amazing kick in the butt. I think it's an
Hmm.
amazing motivation tool. You can just like open one page of this book if you have the physical
Yeah.
book, and you will be inspired to do something. And I think it's amazing to have a simplified book. And I also
Hmm.
like the fact that it's not like the normal self-help book. Honestly, I'm a
Right.
little bit tired of that because they're pretty much the same. I read a lot of books. That's why I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired and sick of them. But yeah, but I like it. It was short, simple,
Yes.
and
And I love that you don't have to read it from the beginning to end. Like you said, you can just
mhm,
open up a chapter. Maybe I'm willing to, and just
yep.
start reading about that. And it's fine. And you can skip a few chapters and go to the end and finish it. Like it doesn't. That's what I like about it. It was very well done.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Totally agree with that. So I think I would totally recommend this book.
Hmm.
Totally. I liked it. I think it's amazing. I think if you are like, I'm not into self-help or I'm not very spiritual, and if you want to change your life, I think this is a great book because it will just give you
Yeah.
like, you know what, just go do stuff. And you will do it because he's so funny. Can we talk about his
He
humor?
is. Yes, he is funny.
He's really funny. I love his sense of humor.
And I
He's
think
some
he's Irish, isn't he?
probably like the accent is just
It
wonderful.
sounded like he was Irish.
Yes, he's probably Irish. I hope we're not telling something crazy, but yeah. But I love the accent. I love the humor, the way
Hmm.
he tells things like so simple and so. I wanted to be his friend, you know.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to ask something to our audience today?
When has been a time where you were just consumed by your thoughts instead of doing something, and what motivated you to finally start taking action in your life?
There you go. You ask the right questions every time. Okay, everybody. I think that's a wrap for today.
Yes.
It was actually a short book, so a short episode, I guess. And remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, tell us anything you want, send us an email, and that's it. We'll see you next week.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.